Okay. All right. So, welcome back. I have that's not the right link. I have done some brief investigating into the issue that I was experiencing with my Twitch connection, and I've confirmed that it was indeed an issue with Twitch's servers. So, in my OBS, I'll walk you guys through what I found, and it's possible I might not have completely solved the issue, but I believe I've like mitigated the damage somewhat at the very least, right? So I went through OBS and in my settings, and first thing I did was I made sure to enable dynamic bitrate, which means now instead of dropping frames, the bitrate might fluctuate. It might not be 6,000 the entire time, but it should be smooth. The video quality might take a dip, but everything should still be smooth. There shouldn't be any like stutters or anything like that. But then I realized that, okay, my connection to the Twitch server, like my network connection is fine. Something on Twitch's end or on OBS's end is fucking up big time. And so I downloaded Twitch tests. And I scrolled through and picked all the US East servers, because those are the servers that are closest to me, and ran the test for just for like 10 seconds to get a tentative view of like how bad were things really. And I came away with the understanding that, okay, this is a region thing. So the test indicates three things: bit rate, RTT, which is latency in milliseconds, and then quality. Now the quality tab is where things start to go wrong. I had been connecting to the automatic server, which means that OBS picks the closest Twitch server geographically to you to connect. For me, that is Ashburn, Virginia. I'm in the state of Virginia. It's on the same, it's closer marginally, I think, than New York City. So it connects to that one. I was getting 42 on the quality, which means that the stability of my stream was less than half of what it should be. 100% quality, the number 100 on the quality side of things, means that your stream should go off fine. You shouldn't have any frame drops. It would be perfectly smooth for whatever bit rate it shows. The 42 quality thing means that whatever bit rate I choose, it is only going to be able to maintain that, or whatever bit rate it shows, it's only going to be able to maintain that max bit rate about 40% of the time, or you're going to experience some massive frame drops, or something like that. Which explains why I, with a perfectly good internet connection and setup, was getting 30 to 40% of my frames dropped with 6,000 kilobits per second connection to the closest server to me. Notably, there were a couple servers that didn't have that problem. Number one was McAllen, Texas. For some reason, I have a stronger connection to the Twitch server in McAllen, Texas, which is 1,000 miles away, than I do to the one in Ashburn, Virginia, which is like, at most, I don't know, 100 or 200 miles away, right? But predictably, I also had a good connection to the New York servers. So I picked one of the New York servers to do the stream off of. I double and triple checked just to make sure that my connection to the Twitch server in New York would be stable. And as a result, that is now where I am streaming to. You guys are seeing this stream fed through the New York server as opposed to the Ashburn, Virginia server, which for some reason is shitting itself. I don't know what's going on in the state of Virginia, or like if there's just every streamer and their mother is in DC for some reason that's like causing the Twitch server to have so much trouble. But hopefully I will have resolved that issue. And in fact, it seems that I have. We are 4 minutes and 40 something seconds in, and I have had 0 dropped frames and maintained a pretty consistent 6,000 kilobits per second bitrate. So rejoice, I guess. All is well and good with the stream bitrate. So rejoice, I guess. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mute that. I just listened to the stream audio momentarily to check to see if there were any audio issues. It doesn't seem that there's any audio issues, glaringly so right now, which is good. So it seems that my problems have, for the time being, been fixed. Hopefully somebody goes in and stops whoever it is from chewing the wires in Ashburn, because that's the closest server to me. I would appreciate if they stopped having problems so I can stream from there, so I don't have to keep bouncing around between whichever Twitch server is not shitting itself. You know? Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot. Whenever you update, it turns off the My Stuff folder. That's a nice note. Didn't realize we had that power to change servers. I'll keep that in mind if I ever stream again. Yeah, in OBS, there is a setting that dictates which Twitch server you connect to. The default setting is automatic, which means it picks the closest server to you. But if you need to, you can manually pick which Twitch server you're connecting to. So right now, instead of the Ashburn, Virginia server, I'm connected to the New York City Twitch server, which has a better connection, evidently. And, you know, for good measure, I also enabled the dynamic bitrate option, which should prevent frame drops even if my bitrate fluctuates a bit. You know, it'll just dip the quality of the video momentarily rather than making it real stuttery. There we go. My stuff enabled. Anyways, since it's a short stream, I want to get in it while I have the energy. So I'm going to start looking for one of the things that is the namesake of this stream. Okay. I'm going to go like in backwards order. Okay. Eric Adams indictment. Great, thank you. Let's see who is talking about this. A lot of places are. Let's go to the United States Department of Justice. I'm sure that's a reliable source of information here. God, this has got to be serious if the actual Department of Justice is on this shit. Bro, you can see he took a bribe from a Twitch streamer. That was Palette of Zin Lamau. Wait, what? He took a bribe from a Twitch streamer? I'm not gonna lie, that's based as fuck. But yeah, what I'm seeing here, New York City Mayor Eric Adams charged with bribery and campaign finance offenses, as is expected with a cop, I suppose. He's a massive fraudster and corrupt as fuck. But I did not know that. Out of Zin worth $50,000. Oh shit. Dude, can you send me a link to that? Because it's hard for me to look for shit on stream while I'm streaming. I would love to see evidence of that. That would be extremely funny. Damian Williams, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District, New York. Oliver Rule posted. I got you. Okay. Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office of the FBI. And the commissioner for the New York Department of Investigation. Holy shit, everybody's investigating Eric Adams right now. What the fuck is going on? Announced today the unsealing of an indictment charging Eric Adams, mayor of New York City, with bribery, campaign finance, and conspiracy offenses. Cases assigned to a U.S. district judge. As alleged, okay, here from the U.S. Attorney, as alleged, Mayor Adams abused his position as the city's highest elected official, and before that, as a Brooklyn Borough president, or as the Brooklyn Borough president, to take bribes and solicit illegal campaign contributions. Holy shit, he went looking for this too. By allegedly taking improper and illegal benefits from foreign nationals, including to allow a Manhattan skyscraper to open without a fire inspection? Jesus Christ, lock this guy up and throw away the key. Adams put the interests of his benefactors, including a foreign official, above those of his constituents. If only we got the same for various other politicians. Justice and revenge sometimes can be sweet when served. This office and our partners at the FBI and DOI will continue to pursue corruption anywhere in the city, especially when the corruption takes the form of illegal foreign interference in our democratic system. Okay, yeah, pretty typical statement there from Department of Justice. But man, holy shit, he is in deep. Yeah, this is a violation of the emoluments clause of the United States Constitution, that no elected official shall take gifts or financial benefits from foreign agents, because that would very overtly subvert or that would very straightforwardly subvert the national interests and whatnot, and ultimately it's just the same kind of corporate quid pro quo that happens domestically, which I guess is probably why Eric Adams thought he could get away with it. That, as well as being a cop, because cops get away with everything. But when it's a foreign country, it's a little bit different. U.S. tends to pay a little bit closer attention in those cases. And when I get the chance, I will view that Twitter post where apparently he also took a bribe from a Twitch streamer, which is probably the funniest part of this entire thing. I believe, if I remember correctly, some of the foreign officials and dignitaries he was bribed by, took bribes from, were Turkish, which is pretty characteristic. Turkey is an ally of the United States, so they would have those connections to bribe American officials, but it's still very, it's still pretty odious in terms of Turkey, obviously an authoritarian state. Now let's look at the funny part. This is a screenshot from the unsealed indictment posted by somebody to Twitter. Specifically, Adams, in a private meeting in Manhattan, met with the aforementioned Twitch streamer at a luxury hotel in Midtown. No fucking way, dude. During this meeting, Adams knowingly and willfully accepted a large bribe in the form of a pallet of Zyn nicotine pouches, an in-kind gift with an estimated value exceeding $50,000, delivered in exchange for Adams' commitment to grant preferential treatment in future city licensing regulations affecting the gaming industry. Oh shit, so this is it's funny, but this is some serious shit. The bribe took the form of an unusually large shipment of nicotine pouches delivered to a private location. And then they just described the whole thing again for the sake of the legal procedure of writing such a document, such an indictment. Yeah, this is shoutouts to the worst liberal, in under the sun. There's a couple. I think there's a couple other liberal politicians that are extremely hated in the United States, be they local or in Congress. I know John Fetterman is like competing for most hated liberal politician right now. Same with like Sinema and Manchin or whoever. But man, there is some hot competition like when Eric Adams is involved. Eric Adams, like the mayor and possibly soon to be former mayor of New York City for this shit. You know, this is what happens. I just gotta say, this is what happens when the party machine is so impenetrable. Like, not from the perspective of me saying like, oh, if the Republican Party were an actual force in New York City, that this wouldn't have happened. No, it would have happened. But rather, like, when the establishment, when the political establishment is so entrenched, when there's such an opposition to progressives as there is in the New York Democratic Party, because that's where the Democratic Party nationally is headquartered, you're going to get this kind of corruption because the Democratic Party in the state of New York especially feels untouchable. You know, like that's why they keep proposing like centrist bullshit, because in New York their power is virtually unchallenged. And when I say unchallenged, I don't mean from Republicans. In fact, they are very challenged from Republicans as of late. No, their power in the state of New York is overall pretty unchallenged from the perspective of grassroots organizing. Like, they haven't been kept honest, basically. So you get shit like this. I'm gonna use this here. Make the turn, please. Thank you. Ow. I hit banana. 8? Okay. We take those. Here we go. Associated Press. Feds charge New York City mayor with selling his influence to foreign nationals. He says he won't resign? Oh boy. Dinner and a show. Let's fucking go, dude. We get to see this motherfucker get put on trial. Reminder that this is like the guy who has made New York an absolute hellhole for anybody remotely left of center over the past couple of years. Like, this guy calls himself a Democrat, right? Like, you know, whatever your thoughts on the Democratic Party, there are certain policies that you expect them to support. My man is just a 1990s Republican. You know, like extremely pro police, which I mean the Democrats are to some extent as well. Anti-immigration for some fucking reason. Like a while ago, I think earlier this year, he went on some bizarre, crazed rant about immigrants being dirty and like the West having fallen. Legit, like West has fallen language. But like with regards to New York City, New York City has been overrun. It has fallen or whatever the fuck, as they're putting migrants on a goddamn prison island or something that they constructed. You know? He's basically the worst that the Democratic Party has to offer, so I'm shedding no tears for his departure. In fact, I'm quite happy with it, if I don't say so myself. Hopefully the you know, the Democratic Party isn't going to learn from this, but you know, we can all hope that when Adams is gone, you get somebody less bad than Eric Adams the next time. You know, that'd be preferable, I think. Thanks for going wide. You get the tight box as kind of a courtesy. I'm just gonna use this. I don't know if there's really a great place to use it on this track either way. I just hope it drops me in front of an item set, and it does. It does. It does. Yes, thank you. I should also mention that Eric Adams' bout with corruption investigation comes as there is massive controversy over the construction of another cop city. Mr. President, another cop city has hit a predominantly poor neighborhood. They're planning to build one in Queens, I believe. Because, you know, for America, there is no bridge too far for the police, right? I don't know if this has anything to do with that, but it would be such a delicious irony if the construction of Cop City in Queens was related to some kind of illegal emoluments that Eric Adams took from the state of Israel, because we do know that that's a lot of the training for American cops comes from the IDF, and we know that Israel is pretty connected with the American police system. You know, we rely on them pretty heavily for that sort of stuff, or at least we outsource it to Israel because they're like allied country or whatever the fuck. And hopefully, here's something that is relevant about these corruption charges and whatnot. Hopefully, I don't know how realistic this is, but with Eric Adams gone and the sort of like emphatically pro-police leadership of New York City kind of decapitated, hopefully we'll get some meaningful opposition to the cop city in Queens. It potentially just won't be built there at all, because we know for a fact that Cop City does not make anybody safer. And in fact, even under the erroneous presupposition that an increased police presence does make people safer, New York City is in no such need because crime is down. You know, if you look at the crime stats, crime is at a pretty historic low right now. In fact, it's been on the decline ever since COVID. COVID brought some exacerbatory circumstances that led people to commit more crimes. petty crimes for the most part, and now that is decreasing again. The only reason that you would want to put more police on the streets and give them their own training facility is if you viewed that like if you bought into a lot of the pseudo the sort of mythos, the militaristic mythos of the police as the boys in blue, the best and brightest, despite the fact that the average cop has like a massively substandard IQ and beats their wife. You know? But more so than anything, I want to focus on just how funny this is, because the mayor of New York City might as well be a state governor. New York City is fucking huge. So this guy's like big politician, more important than like I said, a lot of state governors, because the population of New York City is about 10 million. That's more than like several states put together, depending on where in the United States you're looking. And of course, governors don't usually face any sort of meaningful legal accountability, and this guy is bigger than a lot of governors. So it's pretty incredible, to me at least, that he's finally I don't know, he might, and I do say might because it's possible he just gets off scot-free here or whatever. He might get his just desserts at the hand of the oft very inactive DOJ. I should mention as well, one of the things I wanted to point out but didn't earlier because I forgot, is that you have to be so fucking blatant with your corruption for the Department of Justice to do anything. Like, the Department of Justice is known for completely overlooking blatant monopolies in favor of pursuing, like, small non-profit orgs for like, supposed trust, like, economic trust and monopolization activities. And they're known for, well, not doing anything when the Constitution is overtly spat upon by Republicans. They've garnered a well-earned reputation of inaction. So it's kind of crazy that Eric Adams did stuff so flagrant that the DOJ is like, all right, I actually do have to get off of my ass for this one. They stopped smoking that good shit for once, and they saw that, they saw Eric Adams, like, twerking on all of New York City, and they're like, hold up! Free and steeply discounted flight upgrades, opulent free stays in opulent hotel suites, expensive meals, campaign contributions from straw donors. So yeah, a lot of freebies, a lot of emoluments. Adams took actions that appeared to benefit Turkey's leaders, including expediting this fire safety inspection at a consulate building. Very, very characteristic, I must say, of Turkey to forego building safety inspections, or to want to cut those corners in particular. We've seen the tendencies of Turkish infrastructure to not be particularly resilient in that way. We all remember the earthquake. And of course, the Democratic Party in the state is being a massive pussy about it. Governor Kathy Hochul has the power to remove Adams from office, but she hasn't indicated whether she would take that extraordinary step. She told the reporters that she'd offer her thoughts later Thursday, which is today. That's the day of recording. Like me recording / streaming this, so. I don't know if she'll say anything notable. My prediction is that she's gonna, like, do everything in her power not to do anything, because first of all, Democrats love to do nothing, but then also because, like, I doubt that this is just an Eric Adams thing, I'll be real. Like, if he's the mayor of the biggest city in America, one of the financial capitals of the fucking world, and he's doing this shit, there's no way the Democratic Party didn't know about it in New York, the state that has the most, like, entrenched and well-established Democratic Party in the entire country. You know? Certified complacent liberal politician behavior, I suppose. Yeah. But if that's a segment, future me, you can cut it there. I think again, I just want to talk about it because it's funny as fuck. And, of course, because Mayor Eric Adams is a bastard, which partly makes it as funny as it is. Dude, that guy might be on some crazy shit in front of me. He did, I don't know if anybody caught that, but it looks like, even with the lag, I think I could tell, he did a low trick that is insanely difficult to do in real time. I've labbed that. I've, like, practiced that on time trials every now and again. I had a phase where I was really, really into low tricks. It's possible to elbow grease that ramp and get a really low trick in a way that I think is, like, actually faster than if you go off the ramp fully and just get the regular trick, you know? What a target shot. Oh, okay, no, they didn't get him. If I maintain second here, I'm pretty happy. There could be a blue shell, but, you know, I don't want to, like, bank on that. I think I'd rather just throw some shit backwards or whatever. Okay, mushroom. Just use this here. Second place. No blue shell, huh? I don't think there was a blue shell that whole race, which is pretty uncharacteristic for Bowser Castle 3. +9 for second. Okay, that could be kind of dangerous, but whatever. Now let me actually look at the aforementioned Cop City. Here, hold on. Queens Cop City. Opinion. Mayor Adams wants to turn NYC into Cop City. I mean, I don't think we needed an opinion piece to tell us that. It's pretty evident that he's that kind of guy. Where... I saw this on Twitter, I think. See if I can find it real quick. Go to my liked tweets. No, it crashed. Well, that actually gives me some time to look for this shit, which is nice. Well, rip. Unfortunate. Oh, actually, there's one, like, theory segment that I want to do. I did a theory segment last time, where I talked about the American founding fathers and the sort of myth of, like, oh, America's a good country, it's just failed to live up to its values or whatever. Uh, you know, that sort of shit. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about, but first, Cop City stuff, and then I'll get to the other thing. You know, theory nerds eating good. Marxist Leninists be like, I read theory. Motherfucker, I am the theory. Where is the thing? Man, I like a lot of tweets. I don't post a lot, but I like a lot of stuff. Let me actually search. There we go. Uh, Here, hold on. Top City from Joshua P. Hill. Yeah, okay. Top City. Let me actually see. Oh, great. Georgia cops attacking, tear gassing a non-violent march against Cop City right now. In other news, water is wet. And we know that this is what cops do. They're an occupying army at home as opposed to abroad. Let me find a news source for the, let's see. Ah, yes. The Intercept. Ripped to a real one. The Intercept was pretty good as far as investigative journalism goes. I now have a journalistic source for the information I'm about to rattle off. New York spends $225 million on its own cop city to make the whole city run on cops. Basically, to turn New York City into a miniaturized authoritarian police state, more than it already was, mind you, by building a cop city compound and like having that be the nexus, more or less, of where the city is run from. Let's pick some good old me costume A. Mayor Eric Adams announced last Friday being... Oh, this was in early June that this was announced, so this has been out there for some time. That the city would spend at least $225 million on a new police training facility in the borough of Queens. So, Cop City project, much like that of Atlanta, Georgia, which I actually covered when that was a hot new topic as well. It's a shame that I didn't hear about this for a little while. But now they want to build one in Queens, New York City, which has exactly, the kind of negative consequences that you could predict, where broken windows policing turns the entire area into a fucking hellhole of anxiety, poverty, inequality, and mass arrests. And by mass arrests, I don't mean single incident, but like mass incarceration kind of arrests. The mayor's decision to pour further public funding into policing comes as he slashed services to the city's most vulnerable. Okay, yeah. Including cutting library budgets by $58 million. The priorities could not be clearer. Yeah, I agree. This is a pretty overt statement of fascistic intent. This is the moderate wing of fascism shit. That Democrats sometimes do at the national level, but that is way more common at the state level where the party is very centrist oriented. There are some states in the Midwest where the Democratic Party actually I would view as a pretty legitimate vehicle for left-wing activism, as like a sort of, a very weak opposition to left-wing political objectives. In New York, it represents, unfortunately, a pretty strong opposition to all left-wing activism, and here is the proof is in the pudding for that. Because the motives here are all backwards. This is the classic, like, we're just evil kind of policy making. Even if it's misinformed, this is, like, as dastardly as it gets. Because the reason that crime exists is because of a lack of access to public services, is because of economic disparities and all sorts of socioeconomic antagonisms that exist at an institutional level must be addressed institutionally and largely stem from an unequitable distribution of, resources and wealth and income, etc., etc. That's the reason that poorer areas are more crime-ridden, because people are more desperate and in much worse places mentally, thinking irrationally, making bad decisions. and stuff like that. It comes as a product of circumstance. The way that you would address that actually in part involves education. Those libraries are in part responsible for the situation not being even worse. You know, even when in a low income area, one such resource that you need to have access to is education. That's a way for people to sort of it's in some ways it can have very liberal-esque limitations where you're only giving people means to break that barrier rather than actually trying to break the barrier with the tools available to like the state and whatever. But nonetheless, criminality decreases in better educated communities. Like if you were to compare the two side by side, criminality is significantly less in areas where people have a much higher degree of education. Mayor Eric Adams has decided, nah, fuck education. Fuck all the things that make criminality decrease. Fuck the public services that keep people afloat. We are going to invest more in broken windows policing, a strategy that is actually known to produce even more crime because it fosters paranoia, distrust, anxiety, and even more poverty. The consequences of one person getting arrested, irrespective of whether or not they were actually the perpetrator of a crime, have like wide-ranging economic implications for not just them, but everybody else in their life. So the more you arrest people in a community, the poorer that community is going to be. You're draining labor and like resources from that community, you know, to pay for the legal defense by taking somebody out there. Which is not to say I'm like against arresting people who have committed some kind of crime, especially if it's like assault or battery or murder or whatever. But you can't deny the consequences, the necessary externalities that has. And increasing the numbers of arrests is only going to make that worse. And you'll notice I've operated under the presupposition that they're predominantly arresting people who have committed crimes, which police do not. Police have never solved even a bare majority of crimes in any jurisdiction where they exist. This is borne out in statistics that police departments themselves have provided. So the police are not really making themselves look all that good. Probably because they don't care. And additionally, a lot of arrests made will be false arrests. A lot of arrests made will just be they grab somebody off the street, throw them in jail, and then they're like off the next day or whatever. But even that can have some pretty major socioeconomic consequences because now that arrest is on your record. That affects your ability to get a job, to be productive, to have a source of income. That makes communities poorer. It basically is a self-justification for more policing. By placing the onus of criminality on the people who are desperate enough to do it in the first place, you effectively perpetuate the problem indefinitely. You eliminate all chance of solving it, which of course Eric Adams is fine with doing, and the New York City Police Department is fine with doing, because they don't care about solving crime. They want to beat people up who commit it. They don't want them to get better. They want to have an excuse to hit somebody. As far as I know, there have been protests against this Cop City project in New York. I believe I remember seeing some stuff about it a little while ago. Despite not hearing much about it otherwise. But it sucks. It sucks. And of course, it's got to be said that this is a product of a capitalist system. Because what the police are there to do is not to, like, I don't know, protect and serve. That's some bullshit that they put on the badges on the recruitment page to make themselves sound good and look good. No, what the police are actually there for, that the purpose of a policing institution, especially in a capitalist system, is to protect property rights. You know? That's why the police care a lot about petty theft. They will exaggerate about such crimes. And they also care a lot about crimes that are victimless. For example, defacing a storefront. You know? Yeah, sure, theoretically you could argue the store owner is a victim of a crime because somebody graffitied the walls and windows of his store. But that's nothing like a bucket of water with some soap in it can't fix. It, like you take a cleaning solution to that and you're done, right? Easily redressed. But yeah, I guess the point being that like the police are building another cop city at the behest of Eric Adams, who is now under investigation for corruption and shit. El Bozo, you love to see it. But it's just another. It's the cherry on top. It's another tally. It's another point on the tally, ever growing tally, that police don't care about you. Their job is not to care about you, so they don't. Their job is to care about property rights and to perpetuate the inequality that leads to crime in the first place. Police are the biggest, like, one of the biggest factors in why criminality increases in places where, well, it increases. Because, like I said, broken windows policing flips the sociological explanations for like social antagonisms on its head, so as to basically entrench places that are poverty stricken into poverty further, and then blame them for the sorry state of their communities when there's like a crime or something. They effectively, the job of the police department is to on a sort of media level, blame individuals for systemic ills. And, and then, like I've said in various occasions past, to crack black skulls and break strikes. Which can be sort of a reductive refrain, but I think it's a pretty good encapsulation of American policing. And if you're European, you can substitute black. You can substitute the term black or the sort of racial dynamic there with whoever's an ethnic minority in your country of residence, right? Yeah. Well, I suppose that's what I get for red shelling that guy, and I got mega'd. Please don't star me, thank you. Please don't bullet me. That would be nice if I didn't get bulleted. Okay, cool. Got another me mock bike here. Oh, that thing's backwards. Why'd that happen? No! I fucking... talk shit, get hit, but there wasn't really a talking shit part. I just got hit. I looked back because I was so concerned about the bullet and I didn't pay attention to what was right the fuck in front of me. That's unfortunate. Oh, last second shock dodge. That's nice, I suppose. Consolation prize. Ah. Yeah, future me. If that about Cop City is a segment, I guess cut it there. Again, I seem to be stuck in a state where I feel like there's something more I want to say about the matter. I guess it just know that like the notion that a increased police presence, let alone a police presence of this kind where they have a paramilitary facility that they are operating out of, from which they basically run the entire city, does not in any way enhance the safety of that city. If anything, it just puts everybody more on edge because now it is a police state and a surveillance state where any step out of line can get you a baton to the forehead, a taser shot, or just get you shot. And in fact, it mirrors a lot of the, mirrors, it substantiates a lot of the points that people make where they say that the police operate functionally like a gang. Where they have the insignia of being the badge of the police department and whatnot. and their whole thing is controlling and asserting control over a given territory. Cop City fundamentally is just a way to assert police control over the territory of New York City, as a land area, right? It's not about like protecting anybody. However much even the police may delude themselves to the contrary, this doesn't do anything for anybody's safety. I can come back this race. I just need to not get hit by the cars. And I'll be good. This is a pretty good way to start, I think. Yeah, already I'm in a pretty good spot. That POW is in a fine spot for me, I think. And I'm in first now. What do you know? That. Play it as safe as I can, while still trying to get a lead. Oh, okay. That kind of helps me. Again, my priority here is just not to get hit by any of the cars. Wait to turn big, and then I will use this. Dang it. I feel like I had the right idea. It was just... Oh, that guy left? Disconnected. Oh, well. Can't win them all. Yeah, fuck the police. Anywho, now I'm gonna talk about the second thing that's in the title of the stream, which is the Hurricane Helene. I saw news of this a couple days ago, and I didn't think much about it until I saw some content creators talking about it, and holy shit, this is going to have disastrous consequences. Live, Hurricane Helene becomes Category 4 hours away from Florida landfall. That's bad. That's really bad, actually. And that's from 38 minutes ago. Oh my god. Okay. I remember seeing somewhere that there's like an evacuation map of Florida. There's like a website where you can see all the counties that are being ordered to be evacuated for the entire. I think I remember seeing for the entire western coast, for the entire west coast of Florida, there is a expected storm surge of 10 to 20 feet. For Europeans, that's like 3 to 6 meters. Like that's no joke, you know? And that kind of storm surge it's relevant to mention. It's occurring in a very swampy and bog-ridden and perennial wetland-esque biome of extremely low elevation. The areas that are being hit are less than 15 feet above sea level. You know, they are like within the storm surge's range to just be completely put underwater by this hurricane. Which is really bad, irrespective of the wind speeds. I know the wind speeds are the most spectacular and oft-cited factoid about, whatever hurricane was how bad, but really it's the devil is in the storm surge, because that water is not going to go away easily in these sort of biome conditions, in these climatic conditions that are present in Florida. And conditions that I might add have only been worsening because of rising sea levels or worsening being a relative term. basically what I'm saying is the landscape of Florida that is slated to be hit by this hurricane is so uniquely vulnerable to it that I think we're actually going to see tens of thousands of people at least be permanently displaced by this. There are some settlements in Florida that I think like could legitimately be wiped off the map with no hope of rebuilding. This is kind of the start of that pattern where you regularly have extreme weather events that just kind of spell the end of regular life in certain areas. You know? It ain't good. Really ain't good. State of emergency declared in Virginia? Hold on, that's the first I'm hearing of this. I live in Virginia. What the hell? Let's take a look at the Associated Press. Oh my god, that water. That looks like some angry fucking waters right there. Strengthens in Category 4. Strong winds already cut power to 320,000 homes and businesses in Florida. Not good. They're talking about wind speed. I don't care about the wind speed. I care about storm surge. Water lapping over a road on the northern tip of Siesta Key. Oh yeah, storms like this are going to make the Florida Keys absolutely unlivable. Like, the Florida Keys, their days are numbered. I give it like a few years. Because the Florida Keys are just a sandbar. You know? Like, the most vulnerable to storm surge out of, like, all the habitable or inhabited areas in the United States. Ow. As always, lap 2 and 3. I'm gonna chain this, I think? Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go. Shock you before the boxes. Because I'm nice, I suppose. Let me use this here. Oh, shit. Again, I'm very happy to just maintain second here. That might not be the item I wanted, we'll see. Somebody's going to take that, I'm probably going to get third or fourth. That's fine. Storm surge, what do we got? Crawfordville, Florida. Hurricane Helene. Okay, strengthened Category 4. Forecasters warned of the enormous system could create a nightmare storm surge in coastal areas and bring dangerous winds and rain across much of the southeastern U.S. Life-threatening storm surges of up to 20 feet, 6 meters. Particularly catastrophic and unsurvivable in Appalachia Bay. Please, please, please take any evacuation orders seriously, according to the Office of, what exactly? I'm assuming it's the Office of, like, the Weather Service or something, or the Coast Guard. Those tend to be the offices that you hear from whenever there's a hurricane. Helene is the eighth named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, which began on June 1st. The NOAA has predicted an above-average Atlantic hurricane season this year because of record warm ocean temperatures. That's right. The hurricanes are going to be happening more frequently, and they're going to be each time there's a potential for them to be more severe because the ocean temperatures are warming up. Remember earlier this year, the water was literally like hot tub temperatures off the coast of Florida. It was so hot that, like, there are some species that would straight up die in waters like that. you know? The climate disaster isn't something that we can afford to talk about as though we're like setting goals for like, I don't know. I mean, sure, set goals for 2030 and whatever, but it like the rhetoric about the climate disaster being something in the near to intermediate future is pretty passé because it's here. We're experiencing the consequences of it right now. I don't know if I'll have much more to say about that. I'm not like a climate expert or anything. In some ways, I almost wouldn't even know where to look if I wanted to start analyzing this. I think there's not even much for me to say other than like, yeah, we're kind of fucked. Like that's what's what on climate change. We're going to have to deal with the fallout of it because the window of time has passed where we can avoid any of the worst consequences. Like that's over. You know, we're stuck with the worst consequences of it, whatever they may be. Worst place again. Or at least some of the, you know, less than manageable consequences, right? And of course, conservatives are borderline unreachable on this because it's like, it sounds crazy to say, but they straight up don't believe that, like, they don't believe scientific concepts that are essential to understanding climate change, right? They don't believe that resources on Earth are limited. They don't believe that they don't believe that there are material causes for the changes in the climate. They don't believe in understanding it in that sort of way because it contradicts a very religiously driven narrative about the end times. Like every religion has an end times prophecy, and those people are like shooting ropes in their pants at the sound of this because for them it's like the doomsday prophecy is coming true, you know? This probably isn't going to be a segment. I don't know. I don't feel like my thoughts have been especially well organized throughout this particular recounting of like uh, the hurricane in Florida, which is also going to hit like the western end of Appalachia and the Mississippi River. I think the projection showed this earlier in the week. I don't know if this is still the case, but it was actually projected not to take the usual path of hurricanes that would like come up the East Coast and that sort of thing. Instead, it was actually going to run into the Appalachian Mountains as like a geographical boundary and then sort of peel off to the west, hitting areas like Kentucky and Tennessee, and I think even Missouri. Missouri borders Kentucky and Tennessee. It's like that area. Anyway, this is going to be my last race either way. Ooh. That shock was good for me. Also good for Jumpy. Triple green's pretty good item to have in second. Didn't get an item there. That's kind of unfortunate. Oh, they've got a mushroom in first. Or they had a mushroom at the very least. I don't know if they still have one. What a target shock. That was crazy. Oh, they didn't get him? I thought for sure that they got him with that target shock. And they got me with that red shell. Okay, well. Glad to know that I can race well for an entire race and then just get fucked at the end and it doesn't matter. That's Mario Kart for you. You know, this session hasn't been going particularly well, but that's about all the steam I have in me for today. Because I'll tell you a little bit about my day, why I'm choosing to end it early. You know, so this is still content, I guess. I went to the food bank earlier. You know, it's Thursday, and usually that's when I want to go to the food bank and help out with like bagging chicken or whatever. And usually I just set up at one of the bagging stations, put chicken in the bag, and then send it, you know, give it to somebody who's sealing. Sometimes I'll do the bag sealing. Howdy, Jaime LeBouf. Sorry, you've caught me at the end of a very short stream, but I'm explaining why it's so short because I'm tired today. Sometimes I'll do chicken bagging at the food bank. Sometimes I'll do bag sealing. Sometimes I will be like ferrying boxes from one place to another, stacking them on the pallets, etc., etc. But this time they had me doing something a little bit different. They put me in the ice box so that I could get the boxes and cut the bags open of the like the bigger bags of chicken, so that then they could be wheeled out to the other room where people are bagging the chicken for like individual use and sealing those bags, right? Like there's the big bags which have a bunch of chicken, and then you're supposed to put 3 of them in each bag, seal it, put it in a box, and then that's like ready for distribution. Good night then, comrade. Good night. It's not good night yet, but yeah. You know, you as well. Good night. So for about an hour and a half of my 2 hours there, or hour 15, whatever, for a good chunk of me being there, I was in the ice box in 36 degrees Fahrenheit, in my t-shirt and shorts, with a hairnet and like plastic apron and like latex gloves, cutting open bags of chicken, lifting and putting down boxes, often having to be in positions that were really bad for my back, you know, like lifting boxes, but then also having to bend down because the process involves stacking the boxes up. So you got to start from ground level, basically. So that was, you know, it took a toll. And then finally, when I was done in the icebox, I had actually adjusted to the cold temperatures of the icebox, and it felt hot in the warehouse by comparison. I started sweating. It was like a little bit uncomfortable. And then I was still cutting the bags of chicken. They just moved it to the other room. And again, had to be in a bending down position, had to ferry boxes in addition to that. And like all around, not like a great physical experience. Obviously, in a way, it was very fulfilling because I always like helping out at the food bank. But I could actually, towards the end, as I was helping empty some of the blood and like tiny little bits of chicken that weren't big enough to put in a bag into like buckets to be disposed of, I started to physically feel the results of overexertion. I had like overexerted everything in my body. I could feel my arms shaking. I could feel my legs shaking. My back was already giving me grief, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I was like, "Please let this end. Please let this end." And of course, it was near the end. So, you know, we dumped all the blood and guts and stuff in the into the buckets. That was all disposed of, and then I went and tore down a bunch of the not plastic, cardboard boxes. And then I somehow had the juice to ride my bike uphill for 3 miles. E-bike, mind you, so like it was easier than riding a regular bike, but it's still like it's not a lean feat necessarily. Rode uphill 3 miles on an e-bike that only has pedal assist and not like an independent motor. And I'm tired as hell, and I'm surprised I actually had the energy to even do a 1 hour live stream. But I promised to myself that I would do this today, and I wanted to do it because there was some interesting stuff for me to talk about. I suppose I will have to get to that theory segment next time. Last time I did a theory segment that's now a segment on my YouTube channel about the sort of myth of, oh, America has failed to live up to its ideals. See my full thoughts in that video. Next time, maybe I will do a video about the as Darsem puts it, a French Twitter user, the green to AFD pipeline, or more generally, the sort of pop environmentalist to Nazi pipeline, which is more real than you may think. But until then, thank you for tuning in, all who decided to tune in today. Hopefully I'll be back to my regular hours soon enough. I'm gonna raid... Who exactly? It's a shame the only other, like, big politics creator on Twitch that, at least that I know, streams regularly is, like, Hassan, right? Because I mean, I agree with most of what Hassan says, but like usually I'd like to. I don't know. I just don't want to be the guy that just raids Hassan every time. I guess is what I'm getting at. Yeah, I don't know. Who do I raid? Hassan is live, Mango's live, Zane is live. I will raid Hassan. Yeah. Once again, thank you for tuning in, turning out, whatever. Enjoy the Hasanabi broadcast. I need to hop off. Sorry.